learning how to improvise solos, you've probably heard this advice a million times, and that is to follow the scale. And like most guitarists who hear that, you probably thought, well, okay, I can do that, I can connect the dots, but I still don't really sound professional, or even musical for that matter. But here's the twist. The best players in the world all use that same advice, and that's actually the reason why they sound so good. But of course, it's a whole different meaning of following the scale. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to follow the scale properly so that you actually sound more musical and more professional. The painful truth is most guitar players will learn a scale pattern and think, okay, cool, now I just connect the dots or paint by number, right? And even if you're able to mechanically play through the scale, it's not giving you music. It's like having a tool and not knowing exactly how to use it to get the results you want. The misuse of scales is a big reason why a lot of guitar players find their solos to be robotic, unmusical, and forgettable. And then they'll turn around and blame the advice and say, following the scale doesn't work. But that's not the problem. But pros follow the scale too. The difference is they think about it in terms of melody, not like a math problem. Let's take, for example, the A major pentatonic scale, and we're going to lay it out in a really simple way. Starting on the 2nd fret on the D string, we're going to do 2nd fret, 4th fret, and then 2nd fret, 4th fret, 6th fret on the G string, with the root being here on the 2nd fret of the G string. So the intention of the scale being laid out this way is it's meant to encourage more melodic playing. So it makes it harder to noodle when you have a layout like this, right? So it's going to really let us think about the individual notes. We have all 5 notes necessary for the A major pentatonic scale. Pentatonic, 5 notes, right? So we have those 5 notes and we can focus on each one to help us think more in terms of melody, okay? So for example, if I were to just play an A power chord, and just walk up the scale like that, like even that sounded musical. And I wasn't even trying to be musical, but it's just by virtue of how it's laid out. It already has this nice sound. And it actually helps because we can drone out an open A string. And we can hear the context of each note in that scale, how it clashes with the root note, right? And it gives us a sense of like, what personality does each note have? And when we have that foreknowledge, we have much more command over melody, right? Because we already kind of know what it's going to sound like in our head before we actually play it. So do this with me. I want you to play an open A string. Just let it drone, and then while it's ringing out, I want you to just play through the notes in the scale. You don't even have to do it in order. You can just do a random order, a random assortment of those notes, and then just see what happens, right? So if I were to do it right now, I'll do it, and then I'll let you do it. That's pretty. It's already kind of inspiring musical ideas. It's kind of making me like do those slides. Like I kind of feel that it just feels right to do that, you know? And it's all from just letting my ear kind of indulge itself on like all the sounds of the notes in relation to that open A string. And you don't have to just play the notes matter-of-factly. You can do slides. You can do bends. You know, already this sounds much more musical and much more melodic than just straight up scale driven, right? We're not trying to exercise here. We leave that for practice. When we practice, we can do exercises, right? But if you're trying to play a solo, no one wants to hear you exercise. They want to hear you express yourself, right? And you can express yourself with just these few notes here. You can do also like little trills, like hammer-on pull-offs. It sound especially good on the G string, 2nd and 4th fret. There's all kinds of ways that you can play these 5 notes. And when you're practicing by yourself and just droning that A string, playing through the scale, you can really take your time, right? There's no pressure. We're just here to just make some music, right? So you can go. That sounded pretty cool. I mean, it's almost like you're doing this epic rock intro to a song, where it's just like, just you and the guitar, just making some music, just really speaking, and you're not doing anything fancy or flashy. You don't have to. In fact, I advise you to start very simple, like really, really simple, because I want this to be achievable for you right away. You want to just try little things. Again, the bends, the slides, the vibratos, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty basic technique. So it's not something that you have to be really crazy with, right? Just in a way that just moves through the notes musically. So you're not stuck in this sort of like linear up and down, play through the scale, paint by numbers kind of way. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw on a backing track. It's going to be a classic rock style backing track. And I'm going to play this exact same pattern that we've just gone over, the same notes. I'm not going to deviate from it in any way, shape, or form. And you're going to hear how cool this stuff can sound even in the context of like a real rock song. So when you're practicing this A major pentatonic scale, don't even worry about the theory of it. This is a perfect opportunity for you to actually find your sense of feel, kind of feeling your way through the scale. So when you're following the scale, what you're following is not necessarily theory driven. You don't want to think in terms of that because then it kind of detaches from the artistic expression, right? You really want to think in terms of melody. And when you get to know a scale like this, in this fashion, it'll start to show you what melodies are available. They'll kind of reveal themselves as you play through them, and they can be super simple melodies. And by the way, even though we just covered the key of A today, what if I told you that I had something for you that could show you how to do this same concept in every single key? Well, it's about time I showed it to you. And here it is. This bad boy right here is your free guide on how to instantly solo in any key. You're going to learn in record time how to identify every key on your fretboard and how to play in those keys, whether it's major or minor. How cool is that? All you got to do is click here to claim your free copy, or if you're watching this on TV, scan that QR code or check the link that I left for you in the description box. And that right there already sets you on the path to play just like the pros.